You've been lied to your entire life. The comfortable fairy tales about just be yourself and good things come to those who wait. They're designed to keep you weak, dependent, and mediocre. The men you secretly admire, the ones with power, respect, and freedom, they know something you don't. They've mastered the art of personality by first facing the darkest truth. Your current self deserves to die. Welcome to the only personality development course that will actually change your life. Not by making you feel good, but by forcing you to confront what you've been avoiding your entire existence. I'm not here to coddle you with self-help platitudes. I'm here to demolish the weak foundations you've built your life upon and show you how to rebuild something worthy of respect, starting with your own. Look around you. Every day you see men walking through life as shadows. No presence, no power, no purpose. They exist, but they don't live. They follow the prescribed path: education, career, relationship, kids, retirement, death. A comfortable prison they've been conditioned to call freedom. Is that you? Be honest. When you look in the mirror, do you see a man who commands respect? Or do you see someone who's constantly seeking validation, apologizing for taking up space, hoping someone will finally recognize your worth? This course isn't about small improvements. It's about complete psychological transformation. The death of your current self and the deliberate creation of who you're meant to become. For the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the blueprint that society has desperately tried to keep from you. The real rules of the game. The dark truths about power, attraction, influence, and mental dominance that separate extraordinary men from the forgettable masses. Are you ready? Because once you see these truths, you can never go back to comfortable ignorance. Let me tell you a story about a man I mentored. He came to me broken, recently divorced, passed over for promotion, drinking himself to sleep most nights. Society would call him a good guy, always agreeable, never confrontational, putting everyone's needs before his own. Know what that got him? Abandoned, replaced, forgotten. His first session with me, I asked him one question. When was the last time you made a decision solely for yourself without worrying what anyone else would think? He couldn't answer. And in that silence was everything I needed to know. The harsh reality most men refuse to accept is this: no one respects a man who doesn't respect himself enough to put himself first. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. The personality you've constructed, the one that seeks approval, avoids conflict, and prioritizes comfort, isn't really you. It's a survival mechanism built by a child trying to navigate a world he didn't understand. Your real self, your potential, has been buried under layers of social conditioning designed to make you controllable, predictable, safe. The first step in real personality development isn't adding new traits or skills. It's archaeological, digging through the debris of who you've pretended to be to uncover who you actually are. And let me warn you, what you find might terrify you. The ambition, the aggression, the desire for dominance, the capacity for calculated coldness when necessary. These are the parts of masculine psychology that today's society has demonized. But here's the dark truth. These qualities are precisely what create powerful, respected men. Men who shape their environment rather than being shaped by it. Every great man throughout history understood something fundamental. Power isn't given. It's taken. And the first power you must take is over yourself. The psychology of transformation. There are 3 psychic territories every man must conquer to develop a personality worth a damn: your mind, your emotions, and your actions. Let's start with the mind. Right now, your thoughts are not your own. They're an accumulation of programming, from parents who are trying to make you manageable, from schools designed to create compliant workers, from media constructed to keep you consuming rather than creating. The first step in mental sovereignty is brutal self-honesty. Stop lying to yourself. Those "I'll start Monday" promises. Those "I'm happy with where I am" delusions. Those "she's different" fantasies. Cut them out like the cancers they are. Instead, implement thought discipline. Every morning for 30 days, write down your unfiltered thoughts for 15 minutes. No editing. No censorship. Then read them back and ask yourself, are these the thoughts of a man in control of his life or a man making excuses? You'll be disgusted by what you find. Good. Disgust is the precursor to change. Next, your emotional landscape. Modern men have been conditioned to either suppress their emotions entirely or express them without restraint. Both approaches are pathetic. True emotional mastery isn't suppression or indulgence. It's strategic deployment. Your emotions are tools, not masters. Anger isn't something to be ashamed of. It's nuclear fuel when channeled correctly. Fear isn't weakness. It's information about what needs to be confronted. Desire isn't something to hide. It's the compass pointing toward your true ambitions. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly alive? That moment when your heart was pounding, your mind was clear, and you felt fully present? Chances are it wasn't while scrolling social media or binge-watching Netflix. It was when you were facing something difficult, something that required all of you. This is the paradox most men never grasp. Comfort is the enemy of fulfillment. Safety is the murderer of greatness. Now let's talk action, the realm where most men fail entirely. You can have the clearest mind and the most disciplined emotions, but without decisive action, you're just a philosopher on a couch, useless to yourself and the world. Here's a psychological fact they don't teach you in school. Your brain believes what your body does, not the other way around. You don't need to feel motivated to act. Action creates motivation. You don't need to feel confident to approach that opportunity. Approaching creates confidence. Most men have this completely backward. They wait to feel a certain way before acting. That's why they remain stuck, waiting for a permission slip from their emotions that never arrives. Want to know why that guy you despise has the success, the woman, the respect you believe you deserve? It's not luck, privilege, or connections. It's because while you were contemplating, he was acting. While you were planning, he was failing, learning, and trying again. The hard psychological truth is this. Personality isn't what you think or feel. It's what you do consistently. It's the habits that define you when no one is watching. So let me give you your first assignment in this transformation. Identify the one action you've been avoiding out of fear, the conversation, the commitment, the creation, and do it within 24 hours. No preparation. No perfect moment. Just brutal, decisive action. Because here's another dark truth. There is no arrival. No finished product. No point where you're finally enough. There is only the daily decision to forge yourself through challenge rather than avoid it through comfort. The strategic battlefields. Now let's get tactical about the specific domains where your personality will be tested and forged. First, social dynamics. The average man approaches social interactions like a beggar, seeking approval, avoiding tension, laughing at jokes he doesn't find funny. The transformed man approaches social dynamics like a general, strategic, observant, and willing to create necessary tension. Learn to speak less, but with more impact. Practice the power of a deliberate pause. When you speak, lower your voice instead of raising it. Make statements rather than asking questions. And never, ever explain yourself unless absolutely necessary. Remember this. Mystery creates value. The man who reveals everything about himself to everyone becomes worth nothing to anyone. Second, professional presence. Most men approach their work with the psychology of an employee, even if they're the CEO. They seek validation, fear confrontation, and measure success by others' approval. The transformed man approaches work with the psychology of an owner, responsible, decisive, and measuring success by his own standards first. In practical terms, stop asking for permission to do what you know is right. Stop working for validation and start working for results. Stop fearing difficult conversations and start initiating them. I mentored a client who was stuck in middle management for a decade. His performance reviews were always positive, but he never advanced. Know why? He was competent, but forgettable. He did everything right, but made no impact. I gave him one instruction. For the next month, disagree openly with at least one point in every meeting. Not to be difficult, but to demonstrate that you think independently. 3 months later, he was promoted. Not because he became more skilled, but because he became more visible. He developed the personality trait most lacking in organizations: courageous thinking. Third battlefield, intimate relationships. This is where most men are at their weakest, surrendering their power at the first sign of feminine interest. The transformed man approaches relationships not from need, but from abundance. Not as a supplicant, but as a selective judge. This means having standards that you actually enforce. This means being willing to walk away from anyone who doesn't meet those standards. This means understanding that your attention and commitment are valuable resources, not desperate offerings. One of the darkest psychological truths that men must accept. In any relationship, the person willing to walk away holds the power. The moment you need someone more than they need you, you've surrendered your leverage entirely. I'm not suggesting manipulation. I'm describing reality. And reality doesn't care about your feelings or fairness. Fourth battlefield, physical presence. Your body is not separate from your personality. It's the physical manifestation of it. The way you carry yourself, your physical condition, even how you dress. These aren't superficial concerns. They're external reflections of internal reality. If you can't command your own body, you can't command respect from others. It's that simple. This isn't about aesthetics. It's about the psychological discipline required to consistently do what's difficult. When you prove to yourself that you can conquer physical resistance, mental and emotional resistance become easier to overcome. Start with the basics. Stand straight. Take up space. Make eye contact that lasts 1 second longer than comfortable. Speak from your chest, not your throat. These aren't theatrical tricks. They're physical realignments that change how you perceive yourself and how others perceive you. The dark arts of influence. Now we enter territory that makes weak men uncomfortable. The deliberate use of psychological principles to increase your influence. First principle, controlled contrast. People judge by comparison, not by objective standards. The man who is calm when others panic, serious when others are frivolous, or lighthearted when others are tense creates a powerful contrast that naturally draws attention and respect. Practice emotional state shifts. Be able to move from intensity to relaxation smoothly. The man who seems stuck in a single emotional gear appears one-dimensional and predictable. Second principle, strategic unpredictability. Humans are pattern recognition machines. When they believe they've figured you out, they stop paying attention, occasionally breaking your own patterns. The silent man who suddenly dominates conversation, the serious man who shows unexpected humor, creates a psychological hook that keeps others engaged and prevents them from putting you in a convenient box. Third principle, intentional barriers. Humans value what they have to work for. The man who is immediately available, instantly responsive, and transparently eager devalues himself. Create appropriate distance. Make your time and attention something to be earned, not expected. Don't immediately respond to every message. Don't automatically accept every invitation. Don't frantically fill every silence. Fourth principle, controlled vulnerability. This one surprises people. The strategic revelation of certain weaknesses or struggles paradoxically creates an impression of strength. A man who can occasionally admit specific failures or uncertainties, while clearly demonstrating general competence, appears more authentic and confident than one who maintains a facade of perfection. The key is selectivity. Reveal vulnerabilities that demonstrate growth, not those that expose fundamental weakness. Fifth principle, linguistic precision. The words you choose literally reprogram your brain and influence how others perceive your thinking. Eliminate qualifiers like I think or sort of. Replace I'll try with I will. Remove apologies unless you've caused actual harm. Speak in complete sentences. Use precise language rather than vague generalizations. These aren't merely communication tips. They're psychological restructuring tools that alter how you process reality and how others process you. Remember this. The goal isn't manipulation for its own sake. The goal is developing a personality powerful enough to create the life you actually want rather than accepting the one handed to you. We've covered a lot of ground, and if you're feeling overwhelmed, that's appropriate. Real personality development isn't comfortable. It's a controlled crisis that forces growth. Here's what separates those who will use this information to transform their lives from those who will remain exactly as they are. Implementation. Information without application is just entertainment. And you didn't come here to be entertained. You came here to change. So here's your roadmap. For 1 week, become a psychological observer of yourself. Document every instance where you compromise your truth for approval, where you choose comfort over growth, where you react emotionally instead of responding strategically. Don't judge what you find. Just document it honestly. This creates the awareness necessary for change. In week 2, select one aspect of your personality to reconstruct. Focus is critical. Trying to change everything ensures you'll change nothing. Maybe it's developing the ability to say no without explanation. Maybe it's speaking with more authority in professional settings. Maybe it's enforcing a boundary that you've allowed to be crossed repeatedly. Whatever you choose, implement it with relentless consistency. New neural pathways require repetition to form. In week 3, find opportunities to stress test your changes in progressively challenging environments. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Seek discomfort deliberately. And finally, understand this: true personality development is never finished. It's a continuous process of excavation, construction, and refinement. The moment you believe you've arrived is the moment you begin to stagnate. The ultimate dark truth about personality development is this: the man you are capable of becoming will require the death of who you currently are. Your current habits, beliefs, and comforts cannot coexist with your potential. Are you willing to sacrifice who you are for who you could become? Most aren't. That's why most men live lives of quiet desperation, secretly hoping for a salvation that never arrives. But you're not most men. Not anymore. Because you now understand what they don't. Your personality isn't something you discover. It's something you create deliberately, painfully, and without compromise. The choice is yours. Continue sleepwalking through a life designed by others' expectations, or wake up and begin the difficult work of becoming a man worthy of the life you actually want. The comfortable path leads to a comfortable grave. The path I've shown you leads somewhere far more interesting. What happens next is entirely up to you.